Hi, I'm Poke Violon, and today I'm going to show you exactly how to make the ultimate shrimp boil. This is my absolute favorite meal. Friends, family, everybody, when they want me to cook them something, this is probably number one on their list, at least in the top three, anytime I prepare something. But before I start to show you what we're going to do today, you're going to have to sit through just a little short story because it's very important that has to do with this meal. My wife, who's right here with the camera. That was quick, see? When we first started going out, we had been out one time just for drinks. The next time, she was a principal at a local high school. I asked her to take the afternoon off. We were gonna shoot down. I was gonna shoot down in the valley to go pick up some supplies. First stop, we stopped at not even 10 miles outside of town. My vehicle wouldn't start. I got out, started dropping a bunch of F-bombs and got mad at the vehicle. We jump started it, and I turned to her and she said, "I think I'll go back to work." So that was like the shortest date ever. So she avoided me for about a month. So finally, about a month later, I had an office. My place of business was two businesses side by side in a strip mall. We had a big field in the back. And so I was gonna make this shrimp boil for my employees. So I invited her, I said, you know what, take the afternoon off and we can do the shrimp boil at the office. I was gonna impress her with my best meal ever. So she shows up and we're gonna make it on the stove today, but I usually make it on with a propane tank on a stand, outside, outdoors with a big can like this, which is the way we were going to be set up at the shop, because in the back there was just the alley and a field. But we're in Corpus Christi, Texas weather, and it was super windy. We were putting up cardboard, anything to try to block the wind. It wasn't going to work. And so I didn't want to disappoint her again. So I told her, you know what, we can do this inside. And anybody knows that, yes, you can have a gas stove. There's not very much gas coming out. But Wile E. Coyote, genius here, decided we're going to do this inside in the second business that I have, which had a cement floor, so we were fine. It was more of a storage area. So I set up the burner in the middle of the shop, cranked it on, started making the meal, throwing everything in there, and it was horrible. Not the food, just the spices that were in there, the gas. Stella was complaining that her eyes were burning, they were burning. She even put her sunglasses on, and we were fine, because this takes a good 30, 40 minutes to cook. So by the time we finally got it ready and we started scooping everything out, you know, she still had her sunglasses on, and I told her, take your sunglasses off. She took her sunglasses off. It looked like she had been beat up by Muhammad Ali. Her eyes were all closed, red, but she hung in there. She hung in there, and that was the first meal I ever made for her. And obviously, she's still here. So we're gonna take a quick minute, and we're gonna go over all these ingredients. And just taking a look here, we have, this is 2 pounds of jumbo shrimp. I like they're deveined, they're raw. You can't put cooked shrimp in there, they're deveined. But I like to get it with the shell and the tail. I just think it adds a little bit more flavor when you cook. These are your new potatoes. Now this meal, just keep in mind, this meal will feed 4 people comfortably, very comfortably. You've got corn on the cob. It's got to be the small ones. Don't get the big corn on the cobs, because that's not good when you put it in the pot to try to stir it around. 3 lemons for this portion. Sausage, and this is going to vary from different parts of the country, but here in Texas, we use what's called V&V sausage. That's probably the best sausage around. Love it. And this, I've made a lot of shrimp boils, and this one is the one that I think is ideal for absorbing the flavor, absorbing the taste. And then the main ingredient is actually the mix that goes in here. When I first started making this dish, they used to have little bags that had a bunch of the spices in them. It was like a little mesh bag. You just drop it in there. And eventually I found a powder. And actually the brand is Louisiana products, and it's crawfish, shrimp, and crab boil. I've put crab in there once before. Not a big fan. I just like it straight shrimp. So that's the brand that's there. So these are the ingredients you need. Of course, you need a big pail. And like right now, I've got it about big pot. I've got about 2/3 full of water. That needs to come to a boil from when we get started. And to get started, and I've talked about this knife. That's we have a fishing tackle company. Sharpest knife, great knife to use for all cooking. And it's we'll put the link in the description if you want to purchase one of these online. And what we do is we just cut the lemons in half, just in half. We don't put them in, you know, cut them into thirds or anything else. Just in half, because we're just going to drop them in just like this into the boil. And I'm not going to film all the sausage, but I want to show you the portion size that you want to put with the sausage. You can just take this sausage, and what you want to do is you want to make them bite size. A little bit bigger than this, because they're still big enough to where they're going to absorb a lot of this flavor that's going to go in there. And so I'm not going to show you cutting all of these, but this is all the ingredients. But let me tell you, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put the potatoes in first, along with the lemons and the powder. And that's going to stay in there for about the first 20 minutes before you put anything else in there. And that's where we're going to pick up, is once we've had it in the pot for 20 minutes.
Do you let it boil first?
Yes, you let the water get to a boil before you drop everything in there. Before you drop the first part of it in there. And also rinse the potatoes before you put them in. We've already rinsed the shrimp. We'll see in a little bit. Okay, so as you can see here, the potatoes, the lemons, and the mix. And by the way, the mix, I didn't tell you the proportion of that little cup. That was a 3/4 cup, but we like ours with a little spice, a little kick. So I'd recommend at least half a cup. And then once you make it and decide to make it again, you just go by taste on that. So this has been about 20-25 minutes. So now we're going to add the corn. Drop the corn. And keep in mind, the corn and the shrimp, really you don't have to have it defrosted when you put it in here, because even if it's frozen, it's still going to unfreeze pretty fast. So there went the corn, and then here comes all the sausage in here. And then we're going to let this sit for about another 20 minutes, because the last thing you're going to do, and as you're doing this, because later on we do the fork test, where you just pop out a potato and you stick a fork in it, and right there you can tell it's about a medium. It's not quite really soft, but in 20 more minutes it will be. And then the last thing we're going to do when we come back is we're going to put the shrimp in. Now the shrimp only takes about less than 5 minutes, because it cooks immediately. So this is the last thing we're going to do, but as of right now we're going to let this sit for another 20 minutes, and then we'll come back. Okay, now that we've added the corn and the sausage, like I said, you can do the fork test, and right there, that's nice and soft. So we know it's ready to go. The only thing we have to do now is add the shrimp, and 5 minutes later, but let me tell you what we're going to do, because that way we don't have to film it. This is just a real small ladle, and when it gets ready, when we put the shrimp in for 5 minutes, we're just going to scoop it out, and we'll put it in a container and transport it right over here to a table. And on this table for today, we just have it's just a plastic trash bag. When we have a bigger get together, we'll put out a big old plastic picnic table cover or bigger trash bags, because we don't use plates. We just eat straight off the table with this. So right now, I'm just going to put in the shrimp. We're going to give it 5 minutes, and and actually when we come back, we're going to show you the finished product on the table, and show you exactly what it looks like. As you can see, we've taken out the complete shrimp boil. Take a look, there's your potatoes, there's your sausage, there's your shrimp. Lemons are in there somewhere, but that was just for the flavoring. And so this is what your ultimate shrimp boil looks like, which makes for a great meal. And this is one of the reasons why I like to use the shrimp that has the shell and everything. If you put your fingers back here and you just pinch, what I call pinch the butt, it comes right off. Yeah. There you go, and we're good to go. Thank you very much for watching this video. Subscribe to our channel for more recipes and more just information on food, politics, whatever. And thank you very much for watching this video, and hope to see you soon.